Hello and welcome to the bottom of it with your host Joshua Moriarty.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the bottom of it with me, your host Joshua Moriarty. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for clicking on the button, thank you for downloading, like and subscribe, as they say on the internet. Before you've even watched the whole video, you go on there just to kind of get advice on how to dye a pair of pants, and in the first sort of 2 minutes all they tell you to do is like and subscribe their stupid fucking video. Just tell me how to dye the pants. That's all. Don't need to like and subscribe. I don't need to know about anything else that you do. I just come here for the one thing. Thank you for helping me out and giving me the little bit of advice that I need. But I don't need to like and subscribe. We don't always need to be part of your channel, mate. So anyway, phew, okay, got that off my chest. What's news in Joshua Moriarty land? Well, heading back to Australia for a month on Friday. We've got an All the Colours residency doing Melbourne and Sydney for the month of September. If you're around, come check it out. We're putting out our first single from the new album, Volume 3, in the middle of September. It's exciting stuff. We're really happy with it. Produced by Chris Taylor from Grizzly Bear. There's an episode with him, however many back. He was one of the first people I interviewed, actually, so check that out. Chris is the man. I'm excited to be getting that out there in the world for you all to have a listen to. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get on to today's guest. It is Marc Baker. Now, he is a good buddy of mine, someone I find very, very entertaining and very hilarious is Marc Baker. He's quite the riot. Now, he just released his debut EP about a week or two ago, and it was produced by Ben Plant from Miami Horror, who you obviously hear us talking about a lot on this podcast, as I'm in a band with the guy. I think it sounds wonderful. I'm not biased, but I really, really like the sound of it. I think it's a great start to a career. So Marc and I talk about all of that stuff. He has one of the best microphone spins that I've seen. I went to go watch his EP launch a few weeks back in LA, and it's the best mic spin, I think, since someone like Cedric from the Mars Volta at the Drive-In. It's slightly terrifying, but also filled with grace. It kind of leaves you fearing for your safety, but you're always in awe of the perfect execution and the catch. So anyway, yeah, he's been in LA for about 10 years now. We bond over, I think, we both have our love of frontmen and sort of that rambunctious, scary danger and energy that comes from those particular performers. That's something that we've both always enjoyed. I think that's what we like to talk about. So we discuss that. We talk about his trademark suit, going to some acting classes and needing therapy afterwards. That's an interesting story. And just trying to make your art as honest as possible. These are all things that we discuss. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Marc Baker, enjoy. Yeah, it's very early.
So early.
How long has it been, the EP been out for?
It came out on the 10th.
Yes.
So, what's that now? 7 days?
Oh, 1 week.
Yeah.
But there was 2 songs out.
There was 2 songs. 2 songs had been out. Or 1 song had been out, came out last year. Late last year. So
No Place I'd Rather Be.
No Place
Jam. Love it.
It's been out for a while, and then Common People came out the start of this year. And then we just put the rest out on the 10th.
Is this the first thing you've ever really had out properly?
The first thing that's ever been good.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sure.
Back in the day, I just put stuff out, and I'm so happy. I'm paranoid that someone's going to find it, but I've deleted most of it.
You want to leave a few things, a few crumbs.
But some of it's really bad. Like some of it's so bad, but it definitely all had the kind of energy that I was always going for, just not the right execution. Mm-hmm. And that's really what is great about this EP, is that it has all that energy that I had and all that kind of angst that I had from the very beginning that I still have, but it's executed and delivered in the right way, and that's just because of Ben. That's just Ben.
Ben Plant, Miami Horror, ladies and gentlemen. I still like to call him Keg Plant. do you remember from that night? It was when we were at Dan Keys and we're trying to get him to do a keg stand. And of course he wouldn't do it, but we're just like, Keg Plant, Kegger. Just kept saying
every
it.
single person coming to that party, just trying to get them to do a keg stand. And
did anyone do it? A few people did it, right?
Everyone did it. The best is Avalon Works. If you don't know her, look her up, Avalon. She's amazing.
She was on the keg stand?
She was the first one, and she's the youngest one there. And she was just like, I'm doing it. And it's my drummer's girlfriend. And she's sick, and she's just like, I'm doing it. And then Twin Shadow did one, which was awesome. And because he's a Florida guy. He grew up in Florida, basically, from what I know.
Are they more badass?
And he just is like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. And he did it, and that was awesome. But I remember when that was happening, because it was for my birthday or something.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Me and Dan were partying at our house a lot around that time. But he bought me a keg, and I walked in, and he's like, just so you know, this keg's not going to make it through the night. I was like, far out. Sure enough, it was gone the next day.
I don't know if I remember your feet up in the air.
I did one. I did
must
two.
Have been. Maybe I left.
I did too. No, there's a photo of you holding me up in one.
Oh, right. I have to make sure I post that.
There's photos. There's photos. Anyway.
Yeah, that's funny. You said angst. Where's the angst coming from, Marc Baker?
I guess I've kind of always had it my whole life in a way. I've always kind of lent into it and like embraced a disposition of some sort, and I think that like just the music and stuff I grew up listening to and the stuff I tend to gravitate towards has a lot of angst and like why tortured a little bit.
Where's that coming from? Do you have any idea? Do you look deep? Do you go deep?
I'm pretty but I mean
I feel like
that's what my therapist have helped me with, but I feel like I don't know. I've always managed to work well in that kind of disposition, I think. And I think that brings the best out of me creatively. Mm-hmm. There's some sort of angst and torture, which isn't necessarily healthy, but that's when I tend to do my best work. And that's when I tend to be the most honest with myself.
What are the bands that you're talking about that you like?
I grew up into punk music and stuff like that. So the bands I liked were like 7 Seconds and
I don't even know 7
Adolescence and these kind of like really, really like pretty like 7 Seconds is like a straight edge hardcore band basically, and those guys are amazing. But like I had that.
You're nearly straight edge, eh? You just drink.
I just
nothing else.
Nothing else.
Just 2,000 beers.
Trust me, if I did anything else, you wouldn't see me.
No nose beers.
No nose lattes whatsoever. but I had those bands on mini disc. And a friend, like an older friend, this girl who used to like look after me, like babysit me. She was a little older than me, and she was into all that stuff. So she would like make me these mini discs of all these bands, and like got me into like Misfits and stuff like that. And that was kind of where I, got some sort of anger, and I would go to these punk shows, and then I was like, this is my release right here. And so I've always liked that kind of stuff.
Yeah, punk shows in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the peninsula, actually.
Right. What kind of bands were playing there? Local ones?
Local ones. Lots of local ones. Lots of terrible local ones. Lots of good local ones. And I guess one of the biggest local ones, and people are going to laugh at this, especially your audience probably, is Kiss Chasey.
Right.
Our good friend Darren.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be meeting him for a walk tomorrow.
Yeah. He's the best.
They were a good one.
They were a good one. They were the ones who made it out. But if you don't know that band from that time growing up, and you just know them from them being on like Channel V or whatever, or like
I think of them more as a more polished pop punk, like
pop punk, yeah. And that's what they grew into for sure. And Daz will say that's what he was going for, right? But the early shows they were doing, there was a place called the Somerville Mechanics Hall that you just go to on a Friday night, and they would be headlining, and there'd be like.
This is in the peninsula.
On the peninsula, yeah.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne. And you would go and there'd be like 8 bands on the bill. They'd all suck. But Kiss Chase would be headlining. And you'd be like, this guy. And you'd just go and you'd get in this. There's no alcohol being served. There was alcohol being drunk, for sure. It was kids would bring in backpacks.
Right, yeah, of course.
And you would just get in the front and just yell and just push and have fun.
What like 15, 16 years?
Yeah, I mean, I was that's early high school, yes.
Did you have a band then?
I was trying really hard to start one, and trying really hard, and no musical talent whatsoever. I just wanted to be a frontman. That's all I wanted to be. And couldn't sing, still can't sing, but I figured it out.
Yeah, you're getting your way around it.
It's tough. For me, it's like being in a boxing match every day. With singing. It's not something that...
Singing's real hard, man. Yeah.
It's not something that you can... I'm envious those people, and I'm sure they have a hard time too, but I see people and I'm like, this is just falling out of you so easily. For me, it's just like... It's seriously like I'm in a fight and I'm just dodging punches I'm trying the whole time. On stage for sure, but in the studio even more so.
Yeah, I'm okay, and I still fucking dread it and hate it a lot of the time.
But don't you feel like...
It's hard.
It's hard, but also as you do it more, especially perform it, like when you're singing live, as you do it more, you get a little more comfortable and you kind of can figure out your way around certain things. But do you feel like you personally have just learnt a few tricks here and there that can help you?
Yeah,
in certain scenarios?
Yeah, of course. And you learn how to. You just need to try and become the best you singer.
Yeah, that's what I've figured.
Yeah, if you do that more and more, and like you're talking about leaning into things, you lean into you.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of it, I think. Well, that's what took me so long, is finding my...
Well, that's the most terrifying thing about it, because you're completely out on your own.
Yeah.
There's no... Yeah, and I find a lot of music that I do listen to, I know that people are... Their voice is an affectation, or they're trying to be something, or when it was the early 2000s, everyone sounded like The Rapture and was kind of wailing, and now everyone tries to sound like Chet Faker or other kind of male R&B things. I'm like, but what is their voice really? What's the natural sort of sound that should come out of you?
That's what's been so good with Ben, is he's kind of like, he's really helped me get that out of me. And it's really interesting to work with him, because like when we first started working on this EP, we talked about it for about a year before we even got in the studio.
Right, okay.
And I would send him playlists of just bands I liked and stuff I was into, and I would deliberately, like every third song, have like a punk song that I knew he'd never heard of. And I put a lot of Ramones in there, because I think the Ramones are like the best band ever.
Okay.
I really love them so much. And like there's this
Ramones.
Huh?
I remember a friend told me that someone they knew was a kindergarten teacher or a primary school teacher, and they had a Ramones t-shirt on, and the kid said, "Who are the Ramones?"
That's good. I like that. But they have this one song in particular that I really think is like the blueprint for what I've always, like, what I want this project to be. So it's a song they have called Howling at the Moon.
Okay.
And it's like a punk song, but it's also very pop. And true diehard Ramones fans will be like, that song's a sellout. But I love it so much.
Right. We don't want to get into who the true hardcore Ramones fans are. You can all get fucked if you're listening.
But that song, and I'd put that song probably every third or fourth song in the playlist.
The same song.
The same song. I would just do it every time, so that he could understand that, like, you know, granted, I think I love like Phoenix and those kind of bands, but I want it to have this undertone, this energy that that those bands, just some of them just don't have. I think Phoenix do for sure, but there's like this glossed over stuff. I didn't want to do that. I want to have this undertone of punk that I grew up loving through the whole thing. And I think he really helped me get to that place, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
We've still got more coming that's a lot more heavier, but we just figured this was a good jumping off point.
Yeah, right. I remember seeing you, before you were working with Ben at Los Globos or whatever, and it was definitely way more...
So raw.
Yeah.
It was so raw, and I'd gone through a really hard breakup and was just dealing with it in that way, and I was fed up with telling people about how I wanted to do this thing, and I'd try and work with producers or other songwriters, because I'm just not that musically gifted, but I have the idea, and I can curate a thing. You've been in sessions with me, you know what it's like.
Yeah,
but I just got fed up, so I'm just going to do this myself. It's going to be raw, but hopefully someone will come along and be like, I can see what you're trying to do there, and that's what happened.
Right.
Ultimately what happened, yeah.
Yeah, you can't really sit around at all and ever wait for someone to do it.
You can't sit at home all day, mate.
No, you do have to just...
You've got to pop down to the pub.
Yeah. But it's true, you have to start to do something.
Yeah.
And
that can be the hardest part too. That's the hardest part. It's just, I have to do something. Because it's so daunting and can be so scary. Yeah,
why not a band? Is it just because you never found other guys to do it with?
Never found other guys to do it with, and I'm a bit of a... I figured after I'd been in a few bands, shitty bands, that no one could really match my spirit of wanting to do it. Mm-hmm. So I was always in bands, especially back in Melbourne. They were the only bands I was in. I've never been in a band out here until now. But I would always be like, hey guys, like if we just take this a little more seriously, you won't have to work for your dad in a few years from now. Like that was always my mentality. It was like, So you guys would rather be a plumber than
I
like?
think they would, yeah. I think
Yeah,
a lot of people
that's the
actually
thing.
do. What I have noticed as all of the years go by,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people say to me that I've been in bands with things like, oh, we want to do it. It's just I'm like, yeah, but you don't really.
Yeah, yeah.
If you really did, I know people who have sacrificed a lot to do it and have had to suffer a bit financially and things, but
Yeah.
because they fucking love it,
Yeah.
have done it.
But I just never understood that. I was like, having grown up in on the Mornington Peninsula, where it's just like, it's almost like you have your destiny's already written. You're either gonna, you're gonna go to university and then you're gonna come back and you're gonna work for your dad, or you're gonna whatever, and then you're gonna have a house and you're gonna have kids. And I just would sit there and be like, I just want out of all of this. Like and if I had have done that, my parents would have been like, my dad would have been like, nah, you're not doing this. Like, this isn't for you. You go crazy. And so like I would be in these shitty bands, and I'd be like, guys, like, do you really want to do what you're supposed to do? Like, let's go do something else. And so that's why when I came out here and was just kind of like,
How long have you been here in LA?
man, I've been here. I think it's going to be like 10 years in November.
Oh, really? It's been that
It's a
long?
long time.
Right.
Because I came out here and was doing other stuff and was working for artists and like just kind of was trying to find my way, and then just slowly started like getting more and more like, I know music is what I should be doing. I know I should be singing and performing, and like that's the one thing that always kept drawing me, like always thinking about. And then I just started fooling around solo, like, and that's when you would have seen me.
Yeah.
The first time.
What is it about it why is it that you want to do it so much? What motivates you?
Well, I just feel like it's kind of like the highest. I'd always kind of like, because I went to art school in Melbourne. I'd I like studied painting, majored in painting, and then got out of that, and then came out here and was kind of thinking I was going to keep doing that stuff, and then I took some acting classes for like 6 months.
That's what you do when
As
you're
you do when you move to
in
LA.
Hollywood.
And I never ever thought like, I was never like, I'm going to be an actor, but I kind of always just figured to...
Well, you're not a total wanker.
But you know what? I kind of just always was one of those people who was a little traditional in the way that if you're going to be the artist you're supposed to be, you kind of have to look at it all and see what, and kind of go from there.
Okay.
And so being like narrow-minded and be like, I'm just a sculptor and that's all I'm doing and fuck everything else. Like, maybe go do some drawing for a while and then you'll see what it's actually supposed to be like, or go write a song and see what it's going to be like, because it'll ultimately inform you as an artist. So I took those acting classes and they really messed me up. I had to move back to Australia for like a few months and put me in therapy. No joke.
From doing a few acting
doing,
classes?
like,
Please tell me a little more about this.
I did it was like 6 months I went and I studied a certain technique.
What's the technique?
It's
do you
called
remember?
Meisner.
Meisner. Is that some guy or woman who's created that? Is
Yeah,
that
it's been around forever.
Cheryl Meisner.
Yeah, it's I forget it. It's something like
the
that.
great German,
Yeah.
Berlin, yeah.
Yeah, and it really...
Avant-garde actress Cheryl Meisner.
Yeah, and it really messed me up, and because it just kind of teaches you how to be like an open wound 24/7, basically. Especially if you don't finish it. Like, you learn how to like use it, but I was just so raw at that time that I would literally go and order a coffee, and I'd like, if the person looked at me weird, I'd like break down. So I moved back to Australia, went to a therapist for a while, kind of calmed down. I was like, well, that's definitely not for me. But what it did make me realize is that I wanted to perform, and I wanted it to be visual, and I wanted it to be like the music I liked. And so then that was how I got to where I got to.
I want to know why this thing got you so
And it's
crazy.
It's just it was just a
How are they
weird
pressing
time.
your buttons like that, though? Or is it just you think it was maybe not so much that as it was you also?
It was just the right time. It was the wrong thing at the right time. Do you know what I mean? So, but like, getting back to my point, so that's kind of off topic a little bit, but getting back to my point is that all of that really helped me know that I wanted to be a singer, and like that's what I wanted to do, because I got a taste for being raw and open on stage, and I just was like paint. I felt like being in a band and presenting that band is the realization of all the things I liked. Painting, music, and theatre. And that's kind of what I like.
Have you... I thought the
Does
other
that make
night...
sense?
Of course, yeah. Did you the other night say, I'm Marc Baker and the band has a name now?
Well,
Are they like the Naughty Boys or the
I just kind of call them all different things all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're their own guys.
Yeah, I've just been
They're my guys, but they're their own guys.
I've been watching a lot of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and I love the idea of the Bad Seeds, and there being numerous ones, and they've come and go.
They will be their own thing within the thing, if that makes sense. I want them to like...
You're not going to name them? They need to kind of name themselves?
Well, they do have one or... There's like... They reference there's like 2 or 3 different things right now, but I'm still deciding what exactly it will be. But,
yeah, sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's something...
Now they're just known as the Lovers, because they have those Lovers.
So it's Marc Baker and the Lovers.
Well, it's never going to be called that on a record, but that's what I would call them now.
You never know where it's going to go.
I guess you'd never say never.
Where are you planning on? What do you want from all of this? Where do you want it to go?
You know, I just want to tour I just want to tour.
Yeah.
I just want to play shows as I'd play right now. I'd play it for the opening of an envelope right now. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do is just tour.
But what beyond that? Do you have any other vision beyond? So say someone goes, all right, we can put you on tour for 2 years. But then, like, is there an end goal? Is there kind of a place that you want to end up with it?
Well, more records, of course. Like, I want to do a really good full length, like, next year. And I would love to get a record out and have it look and sound exactly how I thought it should sound. Because we're not even halfway there yet with what it can be.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
It takes a really long time.
And we're so small, like, you know, we just got 1 EP out and we're like...
It's a good start.
It's great. It's going...
Sounds really good.
It's going well. I can't complain. But I still have not gotten to the point where my peers and the bands that I look up to and the bands I want to be next to will know who I am.
Yeah, sure.
That's where I want to be, because I feel like I have something to offer. I feel like there's... You know, the whole reason I started this is I just felt like there was a little bit of something missing with the big bands right now and the bands that are coming up. You know, like you said earlier, and I'm not gonna...
You can name some names if you want.
I'm not gonna, I have no right to bad name people who are doing well. But
Okay, sure, we'll talk around it.
Yeah, I just always felt like, I feel like there's a little bit of a gap as far as what's being listened to and promoted with music right now. And it's
always.
Kind of,
I feel like that's always the case, yeah.
But especially now, I just feel like there's not enough people with something to say, and something to say in a masculine way.
Okay.
And that's fine, and that's where we're at. But me personally, like the guys I looked up to, and the girls I even looked up to singing, they're a little more raw, and there isn't much of that going on right now.
So what are you going to say more of? Tell me.
Well, I want to speak more. It's tough because I feel like if you, and it sounds kind of cliche and weird, but if you're open and honest with yourself more than anyone else, then that relates to everyone else, right? So like,
I think so.
I typically, the more and more I'm just blatant, like in songwriting, the more and more I'm just like straight up, I'll tell you honestly what the hell is happening. Then that helps that other people hear and like, hell yeah, like that's what's up.
But you mentioned in a masculine way.
Well,
Give me a little more about that.
Like, there's just these soulful R&B kind of singers right now, and I just can't stand any of it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I just want someone to like get up and yell like, "Fuck this stuff."
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't want to start naming names, Josh.
No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
This New All the Colours album that we've been working on feels very much what you're talking about, the same sort of thing. It's just like, not yelling, but kind of, a bit of
just like nothing's okay, right? Especially right now in the world, nothing is okay. And like that, I don't know if you know, she's amazing at Emily Armstrong. She sings in that band Dead Sarah. She's a good pal of mine, but she's the best at it right now. Like they just put out an EP. They're a big band, but their EP is amazing, and she's just there like going like, just yelling at you, going like, fuck, like one of the songs, and I'm not into that political stuff at all, but one of the songs she just yells halfway through like, and fuck Donald Trump. Like, there's all this stuff, and she's like one who's just standing in the middle of the room going like, no, nothing's...
Why do you think people are not yelling and screaming and carrying on?
I just think it's where the industry is right now. Music is right now.
But the industry is reflecting culture, right? Or who's dictating who? I feel like the listeners are slightly dictating...
Of course they are.
Yeah.
They dictate it all. Like, you can't get anywhere without your listeners, right?
I think so. I personally... Maybe, okay, we'll make this up as we go along. But it seems like people are... A lot of the music that I see that's the biggest stuff seems the most vapid that I can think it's been in a really long time. Just vacuous and empty and about money and parties and...
I would agree with all that.
Yeah. And is that just sort of where people... Is that like people say it's because we haven't had any big wars or anything?
Yeah,
like nothing's...
We're in one.
Yeah, there's one all the time.
I don't know. I just think that...
But yeah, people are kind of detached from forms of humanity.
And that's where I'm like, I want to try to do something about that.
Great.
So, and not to be like, I'm just one man, but I like...
But yeah.
I would like to be like, if you want to go see someone and say something about it, come to me.
What do you think musicians and artists sort of offer to the planet? What do you think there's a responsibility to say how things are?
Absolutely, and especially if you're in a fit, like, say if you're like a musician, you're like, all right, look around the room. What are these other people doing that you're not seeing? What are you going to do about it?
Okay,
and that's what you should go and do, I think, as an artist. And you do the same in any medium. Okay, this is what everyone else is doing. What aren't they doing? Let's go do that.
So that's your sort of MO in general with being an artist,
Kinda.
But there's obviously going to be some people that aren't doing that you're still going to enjoy what they're doing.
Course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Is it about honesty, do you think, more than anything?
That's the only thing that art should ever be about.
Okay.
Is just being honest. I think that's when the work is the best. Is just... And that's kind of when everything is the best. When you think about it, it's like... If you want to go buy some pants...
Just get an honest pair.
Go to the pants store and get some pants. You know? Like, if I'm standing on the street and there's two burger restaurants and one of them's called Burgers and the other one's called...
Fancy Burgers.
Fancy Burgers.
I'm going to Burgers.
I'm going straight to Burgers because they're like, we are only this. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's exactly that. And that's the stuff I'm into.
Do you want to become the biggest artist in the world? Do you have that in you? You're going to be Taylor Swift?
No. I would love to play big shows. I would never run away. I would love to play stadiums.
But
I'm ambitious in that regard.
But it seems to me it's about wanting to perform to bigger and bigger things.
Absolutely.
What other sides of you've been in LA for a long time. You've seen a lot of fame and Hollywood and money and success and what it means and doesn't mean. And I guess you do not think about any of that.
No,
not really interested.
If you had told me I am where I am right now, even for 5 years ago, I would have been like, "There's no way."
Right.
I'm so lucky in what I do, and I've always just said if I can be afforded the lifestyle I want, that's all I'm after. And so my lifestyle right now, all I want is just to play shows. So if someone come along and goes, you can just do this, play shows, and everything else will be fine, that's all I want to do. That's it. I have no aspirations to like own fancy cars, and sure that shit would be nice, but I just want to play shows. I don't care about anything else.
Is it?
But I want to be on the stages with the guys who are doing the big shows. You know what I mean? That's
you got something to prove.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah. I'm still the same. My thing I've been thinking a lot about recently is like wanting a seat at the table of rock and roll with all of the the big rock boys.
Yeah.
Like, I want to fucking earn a seat to sit there.
I wouldn't mind just being in the room. You can have a seat. You've earned a seat. I haven't earned a seat yet.
I've still got a
Played
way.
enough shows.
We've all got a long way to go still. I
I
think
hope you don't stop climbing on those stages. I was thinking about you the other day.
I don't think I will. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I think it was another thing that came up with. I think I was interviewing Nick from Chick 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 about this sort of thing and how
He's always been pretty wild on stage.
Yeah, and he was just saying in general in life he will always do the thing that scares him a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah, just to make sure he's always pushing himself.
Yeah.
It's like you said, you always need to be nearly having your head underwater.
Yeah, that's that famous Bowie thing.
That's what he was
Yeah.
talking
Where
about,
you should, if you don't feel like you're about to drown, then you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Especially as an artist, that's where you have to be.
Yeah. But there was one, we played in, I can't remember, I think it was in Brazil or Colombia, one of those places in South America, maybe a year ago, 6 months ago. And I climbed all the way to the very top of the rafters, what do you call it? The scaffolding, like the festival stage stuff. And I had these slippery shoes. I've since had them healed so they don't slip.
Good shoe.
Thank you very much. But they were terribly slippery.
Yeah.
And I got all the way to the top, and there wasn't even any lights on me, and no one could even see me or anything. I was like, I'm risking my life for fucking nothing. There's not even anyone here. No one could see that I'm about to slip. And it was really high, and it was really scary.
I love that.
And I was like, why am I still doing this? I'm like, well, you have to do it, bro.
Yeah.
Because you just have to keep proving to yourself that you're tough or that you're not afraid.
You just make sure next time they do it, they got a light on you.
I know I've got to get a spotlight, guy. But it was a little bit ridiculous.
I've seen some photos from you guys on tour, and I've been like, that's pretty gnarly. But there's one, I saw one where you're exactly the same, but it's like during the daytime. And you're all the way up on the scaffolding, so high, far up.
I think I posted that one on my Instagram because I wanted to start showing off.
It's so sick. And I'd be ashamed to see you stop doing that. Because no one does that. No one does that shit no more.
No,
I'm all about it. I live for it.
I know, I think that's what we bonded over, of course. There's something... I love to see a little bit of danger in my rock and roll. Like, in rock and roll. It doesn't have to be in other types of music or whatever, but... There's something about it that just like...
put on a show. Don't stand up there and be cool. Just put on a show.
Yeah, you want people to be a little bit like on edge slightly, which kind of pulls them into the performance.
I don't know.
Yeah, put on a show.
As soon as a set starts, it's just like, it's whatever happens, happens. I mean, I'm kind of out of control of it all.
I love it. It's great.
It's just going down. Whatever goes down, goes down.
Well, it also... It makes you more of a spectacle, and it means people want to keep coming back to see you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was talking about. I've just been fascinated with Nick Cave again.
He's so
recently. Good. He's the master of it. Yeah,
he's the best, man.
And he doesn't seem like he's still got the danger in him. There's still something.
And that's the thing. Like when we're talking about all this stuff, is Nick Cave has always and will always be the exact same guy.
I think so. Yeah.
His art is not about a moment in time. It's not about... It's made up of moments in time for sure, because it's like he writes... Like that last record he wrote is just like the saddest, best thing ever. It's really hard for me to listen to, but because it's just so raw and open, but it's like so sick. But he will never not be Nick Cave, and he's made it his lifelong mission to be that guy.
He's the most Nick Cave of anyone.
And like that's the shit I gravitate towards. Those guys, he's been doing the exact same thing the exact same way forever, and he'll never not. He'll die doing exactly that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So that's sort of you think you're going to keep doing this for that much?
There's no other way I could live my life.
Right. This is it.
This is it.
You're in.
There's no other. I'll be doing this. I'll be doing something like this, even if it's not like this, till the day I die.
If it's not like this, what would it be?
I mean, I could just be... I could be painting when I'm 80 years old.
Right. So you are still interested in those...
Still in my suit painting.
When did the suit start?
It's all... I dare to find any documentation of me that isn't.
Yeah, this is the trademark.
No, it's just been like... I don't know, it started probably in... early high school,
Right,
I would
okay, so
say,
it's been going for a
real
long time.
early. And I don't know, I just kind of, just like,
It's a uniform.
it was one day I was just like, I don't want to dress like these kids. I want to try to dress like these guys I look up to, you know.
Mm-hmm,
And they were like 1950s dudes, and dudes like Nick Cave even, where it's like these guys just like the way like to dress a certain way, and I was gonna do the same thing.
Do you cop a bit of shit for it when you're younger?
All the time, dude. I still do now, even backhandedly, like from people. You see it all the time. But when I was younger, for sure, I was like, but I loved it.
Well, yeah, it kind of eggs you on,
It eggs
doesn't
you on,
it?
like-
It always does.
Anyone who ever talks shit to me, my whole life, it's been like, all right, now I want to prove you wrong. It's been like that the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like one of my main motivations, is just like anything to like, anyone who says something is like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
of
good
course.
now.
That's great. I know what you mean.
It's a little weird competitive thing in me.
What are the things that scare you? What are the fears? Do you fear becoming irrelevant? Do you fear losing your mind? What are the as an artist or I always this is the question I like to ask people is, do they fear becoming irrelevant? It's something that I think about often. But
I've never really thought...
if you try to never be relevant, then you can't be irrelevant, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I don't think... I've never... I mean... Mate, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. Because it's just like I'm not going to do anything else. And relevancy has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I just yeah. Because if you really get down to it, like what I'm doing right now is probably irrelevant in some people's eyes.
Of course.
But I'm not trying to speak to those people. So what does it matter? You know? Because, yeah, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm worried about just taking care of myself and being around long enough to do stuff. That's kind
Are
of
you taking care of yourself?
It's been a rough year, but that's kind of the stuff I'm only worried about. But
General
health.
Just general health.
General health.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of humanity, Marc Baker?
Oh wow, Jesus! You know we're gonna get like this. Let's talk about rock and roll stuff.
Well, we'll get back to that.
No. I don't know. We're in an interesting time. The world is.
Are you an optimist or a
I'm an
pessimist?
optimist. I think we figure it out. I think it just everything just takes time, and you kind of. I just think. Yeah, eventually everything balances itself out, and you hope that.
Whether humans are still on the planet
Yeah,
or not.
That's the other thing. We're probably not going to figure that out. The world's going to probably just explode before we get to figuring out political and economic problems and racial problems and stuff like that. But I think that good always wins in the end.
In Star Wars, it seems to.
Yeah.
But then they just make another Star Wars,
where
and then
it's
the
the same
bad's
problem.
then the bad's kind of winning a little
I don't
bit.
know. I just feel like I don't want to get too political and stuff like that. But we have America has a thing right now where it's so bad that it has to go good again. I mean, that's how.
You would like to think
Yeah.
so.
I hate talking politics, but
You don't have to talk politics.
I swore I'd never do it.
Well, don't have to do it. I think I'm more so just sort of, the question's more about like people and humanity or technology affecting things, or us sort of destroying the place.
I think it's all for the good. I think we're just in a transitional time right now because it's come so fast, and I just think that it all ends up evening itself out. Like people are so cautious now to have an opinion about anything that I think that will eventually kind of.
But if you have a really strong opinion, you can be the president.
Yeah, absolutely.
He proved a good point.
It's just a thing where I just think it balances out.
Yeah, if you're
I
not,
hope it does.
If you're not afraid of being un-PC, it can actually work for you.
Yeah, and it turns out if you're the most un-PC
Yeah,
person,
then you get
can
to
run a country.
get to the top.
Yeah. Wow.
I think you've just got to be un-PC the whole time, all the way through, and then eventually people just go, "Oh, he's just like that." Then they don't pull you up on anything.
Yeah, you just be that way forever, and they just like, "Oh, he's just that way." You gotta leave him.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about rock stars, someone like Noel Gallagher seems like he's just always been un-PC.
Yeah, those guys can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they just, it's like, oh, it's an old.
I remember him talking about his wife, and he's like, "Yeah, women, they're a bunch of dithering cunts, aren't they?"
Have you seen that documentary?
It was awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys are so good. It made me, like, I've always been a fan, like, I've respected the hell out of them. I'm never a fan. But after I watched that documentary, I was like, those guys...
Yeah, it was very motivating.
Yeah.
Kind of...
I've watched that a few times when I've needed motivation to, like, jack me up.
Right. What are some of the other ones? Who are the other guys that...
That one's good. They're good. Nick Cave, of course.
Who are your big three?
My big three, wow.
I'm trying to think of who mine would be.
Nick Cave's definitely the one.
Right, he's in there for you.
Bowie probably is in there just because his life was one big art project all the way up until his death. He made his death project.
I know.
Which is like, I want to do that so bad. I want to do all that. He did it so well. And then, I'm not going to say the third.
Well, really?
Yeah, I'm not going to say the third.
Because, why? Because it's not, you don't want to share it? You don't want people to associate it with you?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, my one of those is Jeff Buckley. I'd never like to bring it up to anyone, but I was a balls deep, huge fan for a really long time. Yeah, and then it just became...
Seems like that would have been around, like your childhood right there.
Yeah,
teenage years.
yeah, late teens, early 20s, definitely, yeah.
Because there's like that, there's all my, like, you're a little bit older than me, right?
A little bit, how are you?
30.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Yeah, so all my friends are like your age, they're like huge Buckley fans.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's kind of embarrassing to talk about with people because he just became so Jeff Buckley and then everyone was covering it and it just sort of feels a bit lame.
How did he die? Didn't he kill himself or something?
No, he went in the river with his clothes on and...
Got a little heavy.
Yeah, he got too heavy. He sunk. I think that's it. But it was a river that everyone knew that you weren't supposed to go in.
Oh, and he just went?
Yeah, but I don't think he knew. Like, he'd just arrived in town to do the new album or the new demos, and the band was just about to arrive the next day.
And he's like, just going to have a dip with
I'm just going to go for a dip, mate, and then fucking blew it.
Dipped out. Wow, shit.
Yeah, that was how he went down.
It's not the greatest way to go down. But.
The other one, I was a huge Prince fan, but that's another one that I feel like that thing's just become people. It's just like Prince, Prince is the greatest. Everyone talk about Prince, but when I was, this sounds ridiculous because of course when I was getting into it, there was millions of other people into it as well. But it felt a little more personal and like it wasn't quite at the sort of.
He's he's amazing, that guy. There's just so many unlimited stories about how funny and amazing.
But he terrifies me. I wouldn't want to be that kind of self-obsessed or crazy. Like, I feel like you sort of sacrifice a lot of your life to be that.
Yeah.
I
kind of like it.
Yeah, sure. There is something about it. I guess it's just, whether you... Yeah, you have to pay a real price if you're going to be someone like that.
Absolutely, but you gotta.
I guess so.
To be that good, you gotta.
Yeah, what would you sell or give up to sort of...
Oh, all of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
So if the devil walked in right now with the contract...
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up. You've only got, like... sign me up. What else am I going to do?
I don't know. Do you have any hobbies? What are the other things that you...
Dude, this is it. This is it for now. I've kind of done all that. I kind of gone through that phase growing up as a kid, and now I'm just like... As soon as I was like, I'm going to be an artist, that's all I wanted to be. And so there's everything else... To like my downfall, like everything else around me is just like an afterthought. So like friends, family, relationships, it's all just everything.
That's kind of the way that you do need to be. Well, you already sort of signed the contract with the devil a little bit.
Everything suffers because of what I'm trying to be, basically. Which I'm so fine with.
Yeah.
We're not around long enough for it to be any other way.
Yeah, well, I think this is the 30s, I feel like, was the decade to, for me anyway, it's felt like that. It's like, all right, now it's time to really knuckle down.
Yeah, I feel like you're locked in more than you ever have been.
Something like that, yeah. And maybe to the outside world, it appears that way. I'm definitely very committed to all the things that I'm doing, and it feels like stuff's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, like even being around you guys and in Miami Horror, like, more closer in the last 5 years, I'd say. I'd even say you in the last 2 years, I've felt like a different kind of... Like...
Since I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Not telling you that you have to. Everyone has their own journey with that stuff. And if you can keep drinking, if I could still do it, I would love to be still doing it. But I couldn't really anymore. I reached the end.
Yeah.
But for everyone who it's still working fine with,
you never hear a good story about it though.
Well,
most people who. But here's the difference: is like that story doesn't just involve alcohol.
No, there's more. The alcohol's the gateway drug.
Yeah, there's more to it.
Yeah, they said that weed was the gateway drug, but it's definitely booze.
Yeah.
It's the gateway to causing lots of problems.
And I'm lucky that I'm just still at the door. I'm not all the way through it just yet.
Yeah.
And if I do get all the way through it, God help me.
Well, I would never recommend it to anyone, really. I feel like...
You never hear it ending like, you know what the best decision I made in my life?
No, I mean, I wouldn't recommend people quitting. I'm the opposite. I'm like, just do whatever you want. Until you don't anymore, or until you decide that you need to change it.
Yeah.
But I've always had a really good barometer inside that's told me when I need to do things.
Yeah.
And I just will keep doing whatever it is until I finally tell myself, all right, now you need to change direction or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But maybe some people don't have that as well, maybe it's not in there.
I guess some people just don't have self, control. It's just like it's got to either be one. It can't be one or the other. It has to be all in or
That's so funny to me though, because having no self-control just kind of causes you way more difficulty. I feel like I've taken the easy way out.
Yeah.
I would have been way harder and way more nasty, and I would have been more badass if I kept going.
Yeah.
So I'm a pussy. I pussied out.
Nah, don't say that.
I know, but that's the way that you can look at it.
I never look at anyone who's made that decision like that ever. I'm down. I'm like kind of like you in a way. Whatever is your current state and what you want to be, I'm down for it. Like I'll high five anyone about whatever they're into.
Yeah.
Drugs, no drugs, whatever you're up for.
How's the drugs going, fellas? Great. Oh, cool.
It's like
keep on that.
I get it real weird because it's ruined every relationship I've probably ever been in. To be honest with you,
there's other people doing drugs.
Yeah. Because
people must assume that you're on the nose beers getting around LA all the time, don't they?
And I get asked all the time. I get
we can score some blood.
Yeah,
man.
that I get presented it all the fucking time, like all the time, and because it must look at me. I look like I'm dealing the stuff pretty much, but it's ruined relationships just because, especially with like every relationship I've ever been in, serious one. It's like I could give a fuck what you're doing. I just want to be on your team. Like you could do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But I just want to be on your team, and I'll fucking show you I'll show you where it is. I'll help you, But they just think I'm like, judging them the whole time. I'm just like, I could give a fuck what you do. Like I'm over here,
crazy,
having cold ones with my mates. Do whatever you want, So yeah, it's tough. So I'm just always about whatever makes you happy. Just do it. I don't care.
Yeah. So you said new album will be next year.
Next year.
We did a few songs together.
Yep.
I don't know I haven't heard anything that we did.
I think I want to get one of those ones out this year.
Cool.
I want to get two. I want to get Ben, if you're listening.
Yeah.
I want to get two more out.
We'll go downstairs and talk to him after this.
I want to get two more out this year at least, and those ones are already kind of done.
I like the song "How to Kill."
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
That song's excellent.
Thank
I really,
you.
really like that one. I hadn't heard the recording of it until the EP came out.
Oh wow.
But I'd seen it live and I remembered it.
Uh-huh.
I really like the lyrics. There's something very powerful about it.
That song is the most lyrics I've ever written for a song ever.
Right.
Ben really, really pushed me on that one. I wrote like a small book for that. Like it's like I could find it somewhere. It's like a mini book.
I never wrote as many lyrics until I started working with Ben either, and I am definitely very thankful for being kicked up the ass in that way.
That one, he pushed me the hardest I've ever been pushed. Because usually, and I'm sure you're the same, is I used to write it, and it was, as soon as it was on the page, it was the gospel and nothing can get
Yeah,
changed.
yeah.
And then when I started working with Ben, I started to change that. I just got more comfortable with it. I was like, whatever serves the song, I don't care. Like, I don't care how you make the painting, just make the goddamn fucking painting. And so, like, I got to a point where creatively I was happy with how it was. I was like, whatever makes this better, I'm down for. Like, if you want me to sing this naked in the studio, I'll do it. So, like, not that didn't happen. It was just...
We had a band that I used to be in, we used to make the guy do that, and he would actually be way better.
Really?
Yeah, when Aaron from Miami Horror, him and I had a band called Peacocks.
That's
a friend
hilarious.
of ours, Sam McKizak, he'd put a little sheet on him like a cape, and he'd be naked, and he'd do excellent takes.
That's amazing. I didn't even think that. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote so much for that song, like so much, and it's really like kind of like a metaphor. It's kind of like a talking about every relationship I've been in, basically.
Right, okay, that's what's going on.
So this is how you kill me, in a way. So yeah, it's kind of about that. It's weird though because there's like a lyric in there about having a gun in your hand, and
Well, that's, yeah.
and some people come up to me like, "Is that like a pro-gun song?" I'm like, "Fuck no."
I never got that
No,
impression.
but you just hear it live and you just hear that and you think, oh, yeah. But yeah, there's no way. But yeah, that one's good. But yeah, I want to get two more out this year, and with the plans of doing either another EP early next year and then a full length towards the end of next year.
Exciting stuff.
But yeah, the full length is like, I have so many ideas for that, and we have enough material to do a lot of that stuff. So.
I'm really looking forward to seeing where it all
Thanks, man.
where it all goes.
Thank you so
and I'm
much.
keen to keep working with you
Hell
as well
yeah,
with
dude.
them.
I reckon one of those ones we did last year will be one that comes out this year.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
mate.
taking the time.
Appreciate it. Love you. Thank you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Marc Baker. Check out his debut self-titled EP. There's a couple of my favorite tracks on that. There's a song "No Place I'd Rather Be," and then there's a song "How to Kill." I think they're excellent. I really, really dig it. I think Ben Plant Miami Horror has done a good job. I think Marc Baker's done a great job. I expect big things from him, so watch this space. I've also put some links in the podcast description for this episode to some of the stuff that we talk about. So if you get a moment, check that stuff out. And I reckon that'll bloody do it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Why don't you all have a wonderful day? Take care. And until next time, I've been Joshua Moriarty from the bottom of it. See you later.